Hello everybody, it's Non-Scene News here, and today we've got a lot of broken updates today. So the first news today is coming from Russia. We've got news that Russia closes out 2024 as the top supplier of oil for India, accounting for 31% of its market share. So India has also replaced Saudi Arabia as Europe's top oil supplier this year, due to Europe actually still buying Russian gas, but from a third party from India. So India is buying huge amounts of oil from Russia to obviously use it and sell it back to Europe, because there's a huge market for that. We've also gotten some news today coming from the Kursk region, where a huge captured convoy has been seen in the Kursk region. So if you see this video here in your bottom left corner, we can see huge amounts of Russian trucks full of Ukrainian and Western equipment making its way to somewhere in Russia. So we don't know what Russia is going to be doing with this equipment, but usually it probably just puts it on display. Russia put a lot of Western equipment on display in huge cities in Russia, like Moscow, St. Petersburg, Yekaterinburg, Kazan, Krasnodar, and other major cities in Russia. Or it could be used. It could be used to maybe research Western equipment. So we don't know, but I'll just report to you that. We've also gotten some news today coming from Ukraine. So we've gotten news that the American blogger Lex Friedman had apparently a conversation with Vladimir Zelensky. The podcast episode is scheduled to air on Monday. It's over 3 hours long. So Lex Friedman, a renowned podcaster, has actually interviewed Zelensky. So Tucker Carlson, if you remember, interviewed Putin and the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. Now, I've got news that Lex Friedman, another renowned podcaster, is now interviewing the next side, so Ukraine, the opposite side. So it apparently is 3 hours long, and we don't know if it's going to be Russian. So the podcaster himself, Lex Friedman, stated that he is an American of Russian descent, and he has previously publicly invited Zelensky to give him an interview in Russian. But I don't think Zelensky speaks Russian. Well, not publicly due to the war in Ukraine. He speaks Ukrainian, I believe. So I wonder if it is actually in Russian. I'll keep you updated on that. So I'll get you the clips. Probably next video of the main topics that were brought up in that podcast. We've also got news that the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has admitted that America was begun arming Ukraine long before the start of the war in Ukraine. So, according to Anthony Blinken, we tried to quietly supply Ukraine with a large amount of weapons long before the war, starting in September 2021, and then again in December, to make sure that they had everything they need to defend themselves. Things like Stingers and Javelin anti-tank missiles, anti-tank equipment, obviously. At the same time, Russia has repeatedly called for the end to the pumping of weapons in Ukraine. So now Anthony Blinken has just admitted that America was giving Ukraine weapons long before the war actually started in a full-scale invasion. We've also got news according to Ukraine's agricultural exports. It has apparently returned to pre-war level. So Ukraine has restored its agricultural export capacity, reaching levels comparable for those before the war, according to the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food. In 2024, the country of Ukraine exported 78.3 million tons of agricultural products, valued at $24.5 billion, with the agricultural comprising over half of Ukraine's total exports. So the top export earners were sunflower oil, 21%, corn, 21%, and wheat, 15%. While the 2024 export figures are notable, they remain slightly below the 27.7 billion achieved in 2021. So Ukraine's not yet at pre-war levels in exporting agricultural products, but it's apparently getting there according to the figures we've gotten from ministries and officials from the Ukrainian government. We've also got news that Ukraine will continue to receive energy from Slovakia despite Robert Fico, the Prime Minister of Slovakia's threat to cut off electricity to Ukraine, according to Ukrainian officials. So according to Ukrainian officials, Ukraine will continue to receive electricity from Slovakia. We've also got news that Ukraine is losing 20 kilometers square of territory daily, according to the Ukrainian analyst Tatos Chimont. So according to this Ukrainian analyst, Ukraine has lost around 3,600 kilometers square in 2024 across multiple fronts. Russian advancements escalated from 100 kilometers square per month in the summer to 610 kilometers square in the fall. So, in comparison, Ukraine lost only 540 kilometers square in all of 2023, but now, this year, in the fall of 2024, Ukraine lost 610 kilometers square in the end of the coming months in 2024. So, huge gains on the ground for Russia. We've also got news that the first French Mirage fighter jets will be in Ukraine at the end of this month, according to Ivans. So the quantity of this batch is not yet clear, most probably from 3 to 6 units. As the publication states, the aircraft will not be used as air defense and will likely replace the Su-24 Soviet-made Ukrainian aircraft. We've also got news today coming from Transnistria that the Transnistria Ministry of Energy has announced rolling blackouts for almost every city and village in Transnistria starting today. So at the beginning or at 6 p.m. local hours, parts of its regions will be disconnected from the power grid briefly, no more than 1 hour, due to locals consuming too much electricity compared to the amount the MGRES plants are managed to produce. So not all towns and villages will be disconnected at the same time. Power will be cut in stages, beginning in the north and moving to the south of Transnistria. So the blackouts will end at 11 p.m. So Transnistria is now introducing blackouts, so organized blackouts throughout the country to try and save power. This comes as, if we remember, Ukraine has shut down Russian gas flow to Slovakia, Hungary, Transnistria, and other central countries in Central Europe. So Transnistria is now introducing blackouts to try and save power. We've also got some news coming from Poland today that Poland has hosted the inauguration gala of its presidency in the EU. So at a gala was held on Friday at the Nation Opera in Warsaw, the capital city of Poland, to mark Poland's inauguration as the presidency of the Council of the European Union, so the EU. Speaking at the event, the Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk said that he would address the European Parliament on January the 21st to outline the ambitious intentions of the European Union, the whole of Europe, and the Polish presidency for these very difficult 6 months. So Poland is now stating in its presidency in the EU, it'll be getting a lot of things done. Right now, the presidency of the EU is Hungary. The next news comes today is coming from Greenland, where we talked a little bit about this yesterday. So Greenland might do a referendum to be independent from Denmark. So according to Greenland's Prime Minister in his New Year's speech to the people of Greenland, he stated that it is now time to take the next step for our country, so independence. So this was stated by the Greenlandic Prime Minister. So Greenland's leader wants independence from the Kingdom of Denmark as Trump hovers over the Arctic island. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got some news come from Belgium, that Belgium has become the first country in the EU to ban disposable vapes entirely. This represents a bigger global crackdown on vapes, as Australia now restricted sales just to pharmacists on disposable vapes, while the UK is going to ban single-use vapes in the summer of 2025. So Belgium has become the first EU country to ban disposable vapes. And the next news coming today is coming from Austria. We've gotten some very interesting news. So the Austrian Chancellor has resigned from his position as Chancellor and the head of his political party. So according to the Chancellor of Austria, well, the former Chancellor of Austria, he stated that I will stand down as Chancellor and as the leader of the People's Party in Austria in the coming days and enable an orderly transition, stated Nehammer, the Chancellor of Austria, said in a video on a statement on X, the social media page, formerly known as Twitter. So the Austrian Chancellor has resigned. I'm still yet to know why. I read something about a coalition was forming against him in his political party and around him. Due to that, the Austrian Chancellor resigned. And now let's go to France, where we've got news that the French military has just released a footage of its forces preparing to depart from the Republic of Chad. So we've got videos here, if you can see in your bottom left corner, of the French forces leaving the Republic of Chad in Central Africa. So the French troops are set to complete their withdrawal by January the 31st. So all French troops are being removed from the Republic of Chad in Central Africa. So I'll keep you updated on that. And the next news today is coming from Georgia. So we've got news in Georgia where the political crisis rumbles on. People are being urged to join in a huge countrywide warning strike on the 15th of January in the country of Georgia to call for new elections and the release of arrested protesters. So this is coming from Protest 24, which is spreading this information about a planned strike through Georgia. So on the 15th of January, we can expect a huge nationwide protest in Georgia demanding earlier elections in the country. We've also got news today coming from Syria that the National Syrian Army has just launched a huge offensive in two directions. So in this direction, at the Mashkana, I think that's how you pronounce this, the National Syrian Army, or the former HDS rebels, but now is the National Syrian Army, is now launching a huge offensive to try and bring this huge Lake of Assad under control of the Syrian National Forces, to try and get this whole foothold here out. We've also got news of reported clashes near the Tashrim dam here. So if you can see here in the bottom left corner, we've got on videos of the National Syrian Army of clashing with the Syrian Democratic Forces, the SDF, near the Tashrim Dam in Aleppo. So this is very big news today. So the National Syrian Army is now actively doing strikes against the Syrian Democratic Forces of the Kurdish forces in the northeast of the country. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news that with the loss of the Tartus Russian port here, the Russian Navy has resorted to remove all of its submarines from the Mediterranean Sea. So Russia has now no submarines in the Mediterranean Sea, reports are showing, since the loss of the Taurus support here, since Assad al-Bashar was overthrown by the HDS rebels. Russia is not allowed to keep a significant amount of boats, ships in the Taurus port. Therefore, Russia has to remove all of its submarines from the Mediterranean Sea. There's some reports have been going out that Russia might be getting another military base, maybe in Libya soon, to try and get a Mediterranean port back online. But as for right now, Russia apparently, according to World News, it apparently has no submarines now in the Mediterranean Sea. We've got some news coming from Yemen today. That's the CENTCOM, American Navy forces, have released footage of cruise missiles attacks on Yemen. So the footage was published on Saturday on the U.S. Combatants Command's social media, and this video shows guided missile destroyers operating somewhere in the Red Sea from the Harry Truman Carrier Strike Group, firing Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles. So the CENTCOM says that the attacks targeted the Houthi command and the control weapon production and storage facilities, and it took place on New Year's Eve, December the 31st. Separately, the command reported scrambling Navy and the Air Force jets to target a radar site and 7 Houthi cruise missiles and drones over the Red Sea. So now we've actually gotten the footage of American ships actively firing on Yemeni Houthi positions in Yemen, in Sana'a, Sana'a, in the capital city of Yemen. And the next news today is coming from Pakistan. We've got news that a convoy belonging to the Pakistani security forces and the military was attacked in Turbat in the Balochistan, southwest Pakistan, killing 11 and injuring 35. So in this exact city here, a military convoy was attacked. So the BLA separatist organization has claimed responsibility of destroying this Pakistani convoy. So the Pakistani Prime Minister has condemned the bombing and expressed his condolences to the families and the victims. So very interesting news. So Pakistan has lost one of its convoys to a separatist group in this part of Pakistan. We've got news that Indonesia's most active volcano erupts again. So the Merapi volcano, at a height of 2,910 meters, is considered one of the most active volcanoes in the country. Its eruption in 2010 killed 300 people, and its deadliest eruption was in 1930, taking 1,300 victims. So Indonesia's most active volcano erupts again. So I'll keep you updated if there's any huge news that comes about this. And the next news today is coming from the South Korean impeached president, where we got news that he is still yet to be arrested. There was an attempt to arrest him in his residency. So we've got news according to the Yonhap News, South Korean news agency, reports and shows images of the investigative police entering the impeached president's compound with a huge law enforcement presence surrounding the gates and the driveway outside. We've got on news that the impeached president's Yoon's guards were ready to fire live ammunition and to deploy stun grenades at the investigators during their arrest attempt. So the South Korean president is still yet to be arrested. There are people blocking him to be arrested. So his guards, there were the military at one point protecting the impeached president and stopping the police to arrest him, but the impeached president is yet to be arrested due to a lot of people actually protecting him. So interesting news, even though he declared martial law. Now the next news today is coming from the US. That the US President Joe Biden is set to award the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest of civilian honor in the United States, to Hillary Clinton and George Soros. So these two individuals are going to be receiving the highest civilian honor medal in the United States. So Hillary Clinton and George Soros, I think that's how you pronounce his name. We've also got news that the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni, has visited Donald Trump in Georgia, in Mar-a-Lago, I believe it's in Georgia. But we've seen the first videos of the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni, visiting President-elect Donald Trump, and we've yet to have any news release of their meeting. But that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Monty News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching. and I'll see you all later. Bye.